Hello, in this video, I will take you through the process of onboarding a new dual credit instructor. So you'll be asked to onboard a new instructor for two things. One, either they are a brand new instructor, they've never taught dual credit classes for us, or two, they are picking up a new class that they have never done with us as dual credit before. So what I have here on this, what you're seeing right now, is I have logged into dualenroll.com. I have signed in under my department chair. This is a fictitious one. But your name should appear here when you're signed in. Under the reviews tab, which should automatically be here, you should then see where you will either have something that says in yellow, which indicates you have something to do. And in this case here, you should see Program Chair Schedule Onboarding. This is where you click. You make a click here. You then get taken to this idea of where you're going to schedule your onboarding. At this point in time, you can see that there's a couple things you can do. You can delegate if you are a chair and you have people that can do things for you and you want them to do the onboarding instead of you. You can delegate. If you need this ability and you don't have it, contact your local K-14 team and they'll help you set that up. The thing that's probably going to happen most often, though, is that you're going to hit the onboarding session has been scheduled, and you will then set your date and your time. So date, and this is in military time, so if it's 1 o'clock, 1300. I will say that in this case here, on your end time, please make sure you put your end time for at least an hour. In this case, you're going to have to do an hour and a half because they're in half-hour blocks. If you only schedule it for an hour, it won't allow you to make that appointment, because onboarding, you have to meet with the new instructor for a minimum of 1 hour. All right, you can input the location here, whether that be you can do onboarding through Zoom if that's the way you wish to do it. You could put, obviously, your office, you could put the high school, you could put whatever's needed here as the location. Come down here, you can insert any comments that you may need, and then you hit your complete step. When you hit that complete step, I'm not going to do that today because I use this for other demos, but once you hit that complete step, Dual Enroll should send you and the instructor an email with a calendar invitation to put that on your calendar, and it's supposed to be sent to you in a way that you can put it on any calendar that you would like. Outlook, Apple, Google Calendar. It's supposed to be in a file format that you can use for everything. Okay, so that's how you would schedule your onboarding. I'm going to actually click back here. After you schedule your onboarding, the one here that I showed you that said schedule onboarding here would go away, and it would change to Program Chair Onboarding Checklist, as you see here in this second row. This is what you need to fill out when you do meet with that instructor. When you do meet with that instructor to go over the new stuff, this is what you need to click on to do that. This is the form that you need to fill out. So we click on that, give you a look of it. As you're sitting here, date of orientation, the time you started, the time you ended. It needs to be 1 hour at a minimum. If you are working with a group of people that are all teaching the same class, you can do onboarding as a group, which is shown here. It will also show you where your onboarding location, as far as whether it's at the high school, on our campus at Ivy Tech, or whether it's through Zoom. All right? You'll see the instructor and high school information here, and then you'll see that it's 3 questions, or 3 things to fill out. But here's some topics that you could cover during the orientation, and then you start checking them. For a brand new instructor, I'm assuming you will go over all of these. For an instructor that's been teaching with us for a little bit and has picked up an additional class, you may or may not go over all of these. But it's always good for us to probably go over all these anyway, even if it is very quick. Question 2 is going to ask you to provide a copy of your agenda that you went over, or you can put a detailed description of what you did during that meeting. And as you can read here, it says links to a Zoom recording are not accepted by NASEP. So you can have the meeting, the onboarding meeting through Zoom, but you cannot just put a link there to the meeting in order to suffice for the question number 2 here. So you either write out a detailed description or you throw an agenda together. And you can also import other copies of materials that you might give them. So, this is just a completely, for instance, if your program has a common assignment that you require your dual credit teachers to complete, you could give them a copy of that assignment during this onboarding, and you could actually include the file here to show that we, as to show that you gave them that information when they needed that, right? The last one is just listing any additional comments or concerns regarding this session and or the participant. So this could be where you could document some first things of if you want to remind that participant to do X, Y, Z or whatever. The teacher will see this filled out, so just I guess keep that in mind, that they will see this and they will be able to see what you wrote. So after you fill all that out, you then say the checklist is complete. If you haven't completed it yet, you can hit I will complete later. If you and the instructor talk about some additional information for some reason, you could request that from them here. They would then be required to supply that information to you. You can also say I need to reschedule, select a new date, but at that point, I think we'd be talking with the teacher about rescheduling anyway. So I don't think that many people will use that, but it's an option if you wish. Okay. Once you hit, you also can actually put any more comments down here that you feel is necessary. So hopefully you'd hit the checklist is complete. You'd hit complete step. That would then send the onboarding checklist back to the high school instructor, where the high school instructor will then have to confirm that the onboarding took place. They can review the form and the files that you have added. And then after the instructor hits complete step, that is then what it will be sent to your local K-14 team for the college to sign off that onboarding is done. And at that point, you have completed the onboarding process for your instructor. Just so that you do know that you do need to have an onboarding done for every individual class. So if an instructor has, if they teach 4 dual credit classes with us and they're a brand new instructor, then you're going to need to do 4 onboardings, okay? Where you talk about the differences between the classes and some of the stuff, the topics that are in here in question 1, those may change based on which class that they teach. All right, so that's what we need to do that for. But other than that, that is onboarding. Hopefully